Imagine trying to run a marathon with a heavy backpack filled with rocks labeled regret, failure, and shame. That's how many Christians live. Forgiven by God, yet burdened by condemnation. But Romans 8 begins with a declaration that shatters every chain of guilt. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. This is not a promise of perfection, but a proclamation of freedom. You are not defined by your past, you are defined by His grace. Paul begins with a word that changes everything. Therefore, it points back to the struggle in Romans 7, where he admits, "What I want to do, I do not do, but what I hate, I do." Romans 7:15. Paul knew the battle with sin, but now he celebrates freedom through Jesus Christ. Condemnation says you're guilty, unworthy, unfixable. Grace says, you're forgiven, loved, and redeemed. When we are in Christ, our identity shifts from sinner to saved, from condemned to covered. The enemy may accuse, but God's verdict is final, not guilty. The law of sin and death once ruled us, trapping us in cycles of failure. But through Jesus, a new law, the Spirit who gives life, now empowers us. The law could diagnose sin, but only grace could destroy its power. Jesus did what we could never do. He bore our sin, broke its curse, and gave us new life. Grace doesn't just forgive, it frees. When you walk in the Spirit, you are no longer chained to who you used to be. You are running with the wind of grace at your back. God's goal isn't simply to rescue us from sin's penalty, but to empower us to live in righteousness. The Spirit enables us to walk in alignment with God's will. We no longer live according to the flesh, striving, performing, or proving ourselves, but according to the Spirit, who fills us with power, peace, and purpose. Grace isn't a license to sin, it's the fuel to live free. When grace runs your life, condemnation loses its voice, guilt loses its grip, and victory becomes your new normal. You were never meant to live dragging yesterday's failures into today's race. Through Jesus, you are already approved, already loved, already free. So run, not on guilt, not on shame, not on fear, but on grace. Because when grace fuels your journey, you don't run from God, you run with Him.